Welcome to the Handyman Pros Radio Show. Home improvement and maintenance tips from the pros.
Welcome to the Handyman Pros Radio Show Action Edition, where we feature feedback from you, our listeners. And I'm here with my old buddy, Larry. Larry, what's been going on this week?
Oh, wow. So this week has been something else, right? So we have had a turnover in a rental, and so it has been the fun and frolics of turning over rentals, right, John?
Mm-hmm.
And you know we've got a good client that we do a lot of work for, and he actually sent us a question. So we're gonna actually throw this one in at questions at handymanprosradioshow.com. And his name is Tim H. Tim has a rental property that had a tenant that smoked. And which, by the way, I don't put in my contracts, but Tim has this tenant that smoked, and his question was, is there any remediation we can do without painting the whole inside of the property? So, John, thoughts?
Yeah, so
besides shoot the tenant. But anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And folks, nothing good comes of smoking. Nothing, And this tenant had really smoked this place up. And I mean, it was awful. So what I wound up doing, and actually he had the painters on the inside, was turning it over. The paint didn't even cover it.
Wow.
Paint didn't even cover it. He had the carpets cleaned. That didn't work either. Short of really sealing up the whole place again, ripping out all the carpets and everything. I went over there with a small ozone generator, and that thing, I put it in each room for about 20 minutes, a half hour. It's not a very big house, but they were probably 12 by 10, bedrooms and things like that. And they were, 20 minutes in each room, and then in the big room, I think I left it on for about, 45 minutes. And I'll be darned that thing really did kill that smoke. And, ozone doesn't like to be ozone, okay? It's an O3, and it likes to break itself down into oxygen. So, basically the way things work, folks, is if you think about if you have something that's been smoked on, if you got smoke on your clothes or something, and you seal it up in a bag, okay, and you open that bag up after 6 months, you're still going to smell. So right. That's the whole idea of getting, airing things out. But, it takes a while with oxygen in the open air, like you can put it on your, clothesline or something like that. But right. Ozone, the way it works is that it actually goes and it likes to be oxygen. It doesn't like to be ozone. So it attaches itself, the molecules, to all this stuff and actually destroys the smell. And it's a trick that all the hotels use, and a lot of around. I know that you've had one, Larry.
Yep.
A lot of rental properties. It's great to get all the smell out.
Yeah. And so let's talk a little bit about chemically. So what it is oxygen. When you talk about oxygen, it's O2, and ozone is O3. Right. So what it really does, and by the way, folks, if you oxygenate something, one of the greatest ways to oxygenate something is to burn it, right? So that basically, in the process of burning, you're adding oxygen into the system. It burns it up. And ozone does not work that way, but chemically, that single oxygen likes to bond to something else, is what it is, and it splits it into O2, and then the free oxygen binds into other things. And basically, to kind of make an analogy, it's not completely correct chemically, but it's pretty close. It burns that scent up. It basically binds to it, and it will literally kind of falls to the ground. I'm always reminded of, we have a mutual friend, Brian King, but anyway, Brian he works in the water remediation, and he says the solution to pollution is dilution. And when we talk about airing things out, that's what we're talking about, is airing things out, is diluting out things. Ozone actually works chemically, so it binds with it and then pulls it out of the air.
Right. It speeds up this airing out process greatly.
So one of the questions I have, John, is do you have to buy an ozone generator? Do people rent them by chance?
Yeah, they do. They do rent them. And these things come in various sizes. And I will tell you that, I just had a little one. just because a lot of times I'll stick it in my car for 20 minutes or 15 minutes, and it'll make the car smell new again. But if you have a large project, you can go rent a bigger one. They come in all kinds of various sizes, and then turn the fans on while this thing is working,
right?
And just get that, and turn on the fans,
the house fan,
and on the HVAC system, so that the ozone goes through all the ductwork too, and it'll kill all kinds of mold and all kinds of stuff.
Mildew.
Bugs. It'll kill bugs. Mildew. Now get all your pets and all your plants out of there, because it ain't good. But when you do, but everything else, it'll kill everything.
Yeah, it drives bugs out is what it generally does. It drives them out of the house, which is fine. Hey, it's almost a natural form of bug control. It'll drive the bugs out. They get a taste of it, and they're like, "Yep, we're out of here." And so they take off, and it will, if they stick around too long, it'll kill them. But this is not poison, by the way, folks. What this is it's chemical, and it leaves that ozone fresh scent. Years ago, John, you remember this, right? Back when they used to smoke in bars, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many bars had ozone generators up on the ceiling?
Yeah, they did.
I know my favorite old local watering hole did, and you'd hear that thing grinding all night long, and it still smelled like smoke, but it didn't.
Ate up all the smoke, and what it is for people out there. It's like after a lightning strike.
Exactly.
After you get lightning, it smells real clean. That's what this is now. You got to get out. It's not good for your lungs, so don't hang around in there. But after it's done, it probably a few hours. It
depends on the size of the room. Yeah,
right. And I let it work, and I was pleasantly surprised that as bad as this place was, it took out. I think I had to go do another treatment, but it took out the first time, I'll bet, about 85 to 90% of the smell. I couldn't believe it, as bad as that place was.
And so let's also say, so this is particularly for cigarette smoke, and then we're going to finish this up. But it also works for grease, because I've done it in houses where I've had people that have smoked or cooked with a lot of heavy grease and things like that. It'll take the grease smell out. It takes pet. Basically, you're living in a home gives it an odor to a degree. It's a lot of different things. We're not going to get into the grossness of it, but it's a lot of different things. It actually will refresh the whole house. So that's our suggestion for the week. If you've got some nasty smells hanging around in your house, mold, mildew, it's really good on mildew too, by the way. I did a basement in one of my houses, and it was mildew. It wasn't mold. It was just mildew. We put that thing down there, man. It cleaned it right out. About 20. It's like you said, I put it in there for about 20 minutes. Done. No more mildew smell. I was like, this is awesome. And it actually killed the mildew, so it didn't come back. It was great. But that's our tip for the week, is if you've got some smells or you get some smoke, use an ozone generator and go for it. So, folks, don't forget to join our Facebook group at Handyman Pros and join in the conversations. We'd love to have these kinds of questions coming across on the Facebook group and the Handyman Pros. Thanks for listening. That's the action tip for this week. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've enjoyed this podcast and have derived some value from it, here's 4 things you can do. 1, tell your friends about this podcast. 2, hit subscribe on your podcast player. While you're there, leave us a review. 3, subscribe to our newsletter by going to handymanprosradioshow.com and click on the subscribe button. We'll inform you of upcoming events, shows, and give you actionable tips for maintaining your home and property. And 4, send us an email with your questions to questions@handymanprosradioshow.com. That's handymanprosradioshow.com. That's our show for this week. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week on the Handyman Pros Radio Show.